Alright, hello everyone! Over 2 months ago, because I have been slow on doing this, I posted the last Splatoon Would You Rather, and I asked you guys to submit things on YouTube. So today, we're gonna go through these. These are just choices between the 3 games. So subscribe if you enjoy, and let's get started. Would you rather have more character-based movement, like sliding, running, sneaking, or more weapon-based movement, like holding a dynamo in different positions, shooting sideways with a splatter shot while looking forward, or pointing dualies in 2 different directions? Now, we have some experience on both of these, I guess, since Squid Roll and Surge are becoming a thing, but we've also seen weapon-based stuff with, like, dually dodge rolls that are really cool. Personally, though, I don't think the base movement of Splatoon should get too overcomplicated. At least right now, I think adding movement options to it is really the most we need to do, and if we want to make it more complex, it should be for weapon-specific things, so it's not too much for normal people to learn. So that's why I'd go with the latter, but I think both of them could be good. Dolan says, would you rather Salmon Run have a system where at the end of each wave you are able to purchase upgrades to your abilities based on how you went over your quota? This is included with Endless Mode. Or Salmon Run have an entire expansion which develops the lore and gives us insight of Little Buddy and other friendly salmon. So basically either a Salmon Run story mode or a Salmon Run endless mode with upgrades. And I have to say, as much as a story mode would be cool, I think the first one is infinitely more replayable. And I mean, I might be biased, but ever since I saw Salmon Run, I assumed there would be an endless mode, and I am still shocked that almost 5 years later, we do not have an endless mode for it. I think it's so essential and it's so amazing to expand that mode. I'm going to be genuinely surprised if Splatoon 3 does not have an endless mode for it. Genuinely surprised, and I think we need it. Would you rather have a completely new mode to play in ranked with a centralized objective or one with a decentralized objective? Example, tower control versus a more chaotic mode like Clan Blitz. Personally, I'm more of a fan of a centralized objective just because I think it's simpler. A decentralized objective definitely has a lot of potential, but it's much harder to come up with good concepts for it. I guess it depends on what exactly you do, but for me, if I'm looking at what's going to be easiest for people to understand and latch onto, it's going to be a centralized one. And as much as I love Clan Blitz, I think it's one of the best examples on how a decentralized objective can actually be really hard for people to understand. Beta Goblin says, would you rather Splatoon 3 get an awesome single-player DLC similar to Octo Expansion, or Splatoon 3 have developer support for 3 years, new weapons, balance patches, etc.? I saw a lot of these where, would you rather have single-player Salmon Run, etc. thing versus more multiplayer support, and I'm sorry to the lore heads out there and the single-player heads out there, because I'm not trying to say those aren't important. I will always pick the multiplayer. I think that multiplayer support is so insane for the lifespan of the game, and I will always prioritize it. Octo Expansion was awesome, and I even replay Octo Expansion a ton, but Splatoon is primarily multiplayer, and I think the better you make that and the more replayable it is, the longer the game's lifespan is. Would you rather have better online, like tick rate, or better communication options on the D-pad? I'm gonna go with tick rate here. It's a pretty simple one, but I think tick rate is a little bit better, just because it's more consistent overall. Communication can be very important, but a lot of people don't use it anyway, and I think just a better online system just feels better for everyone, so I'm gonna go with tick rate here. Would you rather have 3 kits per weapon, but they're all randomly generated, or only 1 kit, but it's actually good? Now, this one's a really hard one, because multiple kits has nice perks. Even if you can pick your exact kit, some weapons have kits of multiple playstyles. I think Splattershot's probably the best example, where T-Tech and K-Shot have very different playstyles, and both of them are really nice. And so even if it's random, that would probably lead to, if the specials and subs are overall good, better kits overall, still in terms of variety, because you'd be able to swap between more supportive or aggressive kits, so it makes it really hard to pick. I think this question is very dependent on the specials in the game, so if this is good special design in the game and good sub-weapon balance, then I would rather have the 3 random kits, because I think that would overall lead to better weapons and more versatile playstyles. But if the sub and special weapon balance is anything like it is in Splatoon 2, I would rather pick a kit that I know I'll have fun with than just sack one of the playstyles. Lily says, would you rather have apartments in Splatoon 3 or ranked modes in Splatfest? I've seen a lot of apartments comparisons, and I honestly have to say I like ranked modes better, in theory, because Splatfest not having them is really annoying. But that being said, Splatfests are a temporary feature that rarely happens, and apartments would be a permanent one. If apartments were done really well, that would be something that could happen permanently, while Splatfest is something that is temporary. So, as much as I really want Splatfest, the potential for apartments is really huge, and it being available all the time to me makes it more valuable. Mystic says, would you rather have layered clothing, like how in Monster Hunter you can have the look of certain armor, or buy ability chunks? If you can buy ability chunks, it's much easier to pick gears. And yeah, it's annoying to have to switch things out, but like, to me, buying chunks with money fixes the entire ability system because it makes what we have right now a secondary system. You earn money to buy chunks reliably, and in addition, you have an RNG system you can try to do to help you out. That makes it way better. Rubber Chicken's Foot says, would you rather have a fully decked out training room, better aim trainers, AI enemies, infinite ink, switching gear, etc., or decked out PBs? That's a hard choice, man. I think a better training room is so nice for the game, but at the same time, better PBs would be so huge. I have to say, as someone who uses PBs all the time, I would personally pick PBs. I think the idea of having custom rule sets gives a lot of potential for alternate modes, like hide and seek, for example, could be done super well. Or if you want to do things like having infinite specials in PBs or something, like what if you want an inkjet only private battle? Like, there's so many options there, and as nice as a better training room would be, the majority of people are kind of casuals and probably don't care enough to practice their aim in the training room every day. And I think customizable private battle features would definitely be the better one for the majority of players. Chara, would you rather be able to customize which song plays in your match, or be able to choose which colors are in your match? Now that's a hard one. Customizing songs would be awesome. A, because I can make the songs I don't like simply not play anymore and hear the better ones. But I feel like that would make the better ones only a bit more stale, so it has some downsides. But the colors could be the same thing. That's why I don't have color lock on, because I feel like I would get so tired of the colors, even though it's something I still barely notice nowadays. I guess I would go with the music, because the music has more options to customize with it. And at the end, I usually just stick with the default colors, because I don't like those that make it harder to see, like some of the Splatfest ones. So I think it's just easier to pick the songs. Would you rather remove Tentamissiles from all Splatoon games or remove Ink Armor? I would say that Tentamissiles is the better designed one, because using missiles is still really satisfying and as depth as the user, where Ink Armor is just completely bland. Both are bad for the game, but I feel like missiles are the easier one to fix with time, and missiles are the better one even if they aren't going to be changed. So I'll go with Tentamissiles. Would you rather have infinite Crab Tank levels or infinite Zipcaster levels in Splatoon 3 single player? That's such a hard one to pick. Both of these have a ton of potential. If I had to go with one, I would say Crab Tank would probably be the better one, just because there's more things you can do with it. But at the same time, both will be hard to balance. Zipcaster just gives you so much movement, where Inkjet's still somewhat limited. And even Inkjet breaks a lot of the Octo expansion levels with, like, a bunch of skips, let alone what that would be able to do. But Crab Tank also has Ball Form, which if the mech doesn't have HP, could be really annoying and just not being able to die. So I don't know. I guess I would go with the Crab Tank, because I think the Crab Tank could have more in-depth levels, both with the potential for Baller and the two different modes of fire, where Zipcaster would be great, but more limited. Would you rather have a good weapon with a bad kit or a bad weapon with a complementary kit? I mean, a good kit for a weaker weapon could do a lot. I mean, look at Grin. Like, its kit makes up pretty much every weakness that it has. But that being said, a good weapon can be good even with a bad kit. Look at something like... Actually, it's kind of hard to say. You know what? I think bad kits is probably more damaging. Like, and a good weapon, even with a bad kit, can get really hurt. So I think I'd honestly take the latter. Would you rather have Blaster Jump RNG fixed or Brella Shield Latency fixed? Range Blaster is still perfectly playable and feels fun with Jump RNG. Brella does not. Brella literally does not function. Range is just weaker. And as nice as range would be with no Jump RNG, I would easily rather take Brella being actually workable. Would you rather play the same weapon forever or play the same stage forever? And I'm going to combine this with, if you had to focus on only one of your mains for Splatoon 3 and couldn't change, which would you pick? Because both of these have the same answer, which is, yes, I would just play Range Blaster. Because at this point, I've played Range for almost 6 years now. I think at this point, considering what I've gone through, I'm going to play it for as long as Splatoon exists and the weapon exists in the game and like it. It feels really hard to see myself not playing that weapon, ever. So, I'm just gonna go with it because that's what's tried and true. I feel like the same stage would get boring. Would you rather have a Battle Royale mode or a free-for-all deathmatch? Ah, yes, so the brand new modes that people want. This is probably the two most requested ones. So I gotta be honest about something, and this opinion's gonna get me in trouble, okay? I don't like Battle Royale at all. I do not like the genre. I can see it being entertaining from a spectator POV. I do not like the random nature of it, and I would way much rather have a free-for-all. Also, Battle Royale just straight up won't work. I gotta be honest, with the amount of things you have to render for Splatoon with like 100 players, yeah, that'd be kind of hard. I feel like it'd be way easier to just make a free-for-all deathmatch mode, and that would be more fun to me. And the final Would You Rather until Splatoon 3. Would you rather have good lore about Cambo or Grizzco? Both of these are awesome things to get lore about, and I can definitely tell we're gonna get more lore about both of them. But if I had to pick, it would be Grizzco. I honestly really like Cambo Co, but I feel like they kind of had an arc and ending in Octo Expansion, and while you could definitely build on that more, 100%, I feel like it's somewhat satisfied of a conclusion to where we can live with it, where Grizzco is something that we know is shady and still don't have answers on the most basic things like who Mr. Grizz even is, and so I think getting more lore on Grizzco would be better. With that being said, everyone, though, thank you guys so much for watching. That's the last set of Would You Rathers that I'm going to do until Splatoon 3, so have a good one.